I don't understand what I'm seeing. Don't we already have 7 servants accounted for, don't we? There's a golden figure standing with the moon behind him. It's a man clad in golden armor, looking down at the yard with a cruel smile. Who's there? Castor raises her voice, instinctively realizing that this is the one who annihilated her troops. He gives no answer. He's not even looking at Castor. His eyes are fixed on one person alone. Saber. Hold on, I just had a thought. If Saber isn't like a proper servant, does that actually mean there's space for one more? Because then does Saber not count towards the total count? Oh. Answer! I'm asking who you are! Castor's voice is heavy with emotion. The golden armored man finally looks at her. Castor gasps as the man's red eyes bore into her. His gaze is impossibly cold. He doesn't even see Castor as human. I can tell as far away as I am. I don't blame Castor for being intimidated, like some icy hand has a grip on her heart. She looked straight into his eyes. Why are you getting in my way? Castor's voice trembles as she speaks. She must know she's doomed if she doesn't do something. But I have no reason to address myself to a mongrel. Begone, clown. His answer comes as a death sentence. I hear a loud snap. By the time I realize it's the sound of him clicking his tongue, the tragedy has begun. Myriad weapons appear in the air, shooting toward Castor like bullets from a machine gun. Castor raises her arm. A conceptual shield envelops her. It forms a glassy film in front of Castor. It is likely every bit as durable as Berserker himself. But her efforts are probably fruitless, as the barrier is merely glass. Her crystalline barrier shatters under the deadly rain of so many weapons. Ah! She sounds utterly dumbfounded, with not a modicum of concern for Castor, as she so pitifully tilts her head in wonder. The weapons tear through her dark robe. They are merciless. Spears tear into her, sending fabric flying, only for yet more of them to plunge into her body. Swords cut down her falling form, while arrows sail toward an arm as it is about to hit the ground. An axe chops off a head, about to complain of the pain. All of it brings Castor to untold peaks of agony. She can't possibly survive. Castor, succumbing to an endless hail of so many different weapons, is no longer even recognizably human. Well, that was an entrance. The wind flows. Her tattered, empty robe floats away. The shredded pieces of it fly skyward in the evening breeze. That torn robe tries valiantly to hold its form. Maybe because it's the only thing remaining to remind us of Castor. I'm completely speechless. My frozen mind is fixed on the miserable remnants of that robe as they float away. And then... Insolent fool. I told her to be gone from my sight. The sensible thing to do would have been to graciously commit suicide before me. The man in gold grunts contemptuously. What? I'm not hallucinating. The dark robe twists like the coils of a snake, then sprouts wings to fly away. But it's too late. I don't know what the man did. I only see a crack in the night sky itself. Like a wave breaking out at sea, the fault line engulfs the fluttering robe. It's like a person being run over by a steamroller. The robe falls. Casters beneath it, unscathed. And then... again, sheesh! A storm of magical swords rains down onto her. I would have said rains down upon her, but whatever. Her scream splits the night. More swords fall upon her in response, and her scream grows louder. Hold them out! It hurts! Hold them out, please! Caster must be able to heal herself like Saber. Even all those swords impaling her is still not enough to kill her, but it's hard to watch. The torrent of swords do not stop. Each weapon is different. No two are alike. As much as I don't want to admit it, each of the weapons is a magical sword or spear, and is easily a match for a servant's noble phantasm. No way! That isn't possible! There can't be so many! An inexhaustible supply of noble phantasms rains down onto Caster. Seeing the way she struggles under it is just... Am I going to die? Am I going to die from something so ridiculous as... How funny. So see some joke! And that is the end of Caster. She disappears along with the black mist that was hiding her. The infinite cycle of torture that seemed to drag on forever lasted, in actuality, about 10 seconds. During that time, Saber stood scowling at the Golden Knight. Huh. A mere mage, even mentioning capturing what belongs to the King of Knights is a great sin. Huh? Wait, is he on our side? I am king and she is mine. Any fool who meddles with a king's treasure is fit for nothing else but such a death. Wait, what? Huh? Who the heck is this guy? Now then, it has been a while, Saber. Do you remember the decision I made? His tone turns amicable as he addresses Saber. But Saber doesn't answer. She only glares all the more intensely at him. Why do you look at me like that? Have you not made your choice yet? It's been 10 years. That should have been time enough to decide. I suppose it has only been 10 years for me. It must seem like yesterday. What a foolish woman you are, making me wait so long. Wait, is he a holdover from the previous war? He laughs heartily. My heart's pounding. Apart from the disaster just witnessed. But beyond that, the way he's looking at Saber is making me nauseous. Some mongrels yet remain. He glances toward the house, annoyed. No, they're not mongrels! I assure you. Huh? I look and see Tasaka and Ilya on the veranda in front of the living room. What is that? Ilya looks up at the man like she's just seen a ghost. Ilya, go. Leave, please. This is not going to turn out well for you, I don't think. She strains her eyes for a moment, then shakes her head in disbelief. No way. Who are you? Huh. Can't you tell, fool? I am one of the heroic spirits you know so well. You can't be! Ilya jumps off the veranda and glares at the man as if in challenge. I don't know. I don't know you. There shouldn't be a servant I don't know about. What? Wait, Ilya! My words don't reach her. Ilya releases a mass of magical energy straight at the man. What are you trying to do, Ilya? I hear it rushing through the air. He does nothing. A mirrored shield appears in front of him and reflects Ilya's attack back at her. Ilya... Huh? She'd been so blind and desperate in her attack that now she has no time to react to it. Ilya can only stand there as her attack rebounds toward her. Oh, thank goodness, Tasaka. That hurt. Tasaka steps in and saves her, blocking the attack. Huh. I see, so we have an odd one this time around. I see they've done a bit of creative thinking to avoid repeating their mistake last time. He looks down at Ilya, scrutinizing her. He looks at Ilya the same way he looks at Saber, coldly, as though appraising prized possessions. No, 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 no! I hate you! Ilya glares at the man, while Tasaka tries to hold her back. I could not possibly care less. Come now, open yourself up. Quickly now, you aren't the fit one after all. Huh? He says it so simply. I'm not sure why that had an effect on her. No! Ilya trembles violently, then slumps to the ground. That's it. Nothing else can happen. Tasaka and I can only look up at the man. We completely understand. He's not looking at us. If either of us so much as speaks, we'll meet the same fate as Castor. But not Saber. Her silence as she stares up at the Golden Knight is entirely different than ours. How and why have you manifested, Archer? Not like our Archer, though, right? Saber tries to keep her voice under control. Tasaka and I can only gasp in surprise. Unless... Is he? I require no reason. The Holy Grail is mine. What reason could I need to collect what is mine? Nonsense, you're not that kind of hero. Or rather... Stop! Another word and you will be forced to fight King of Knights! I intend to do... Or no, I think that's him addressing her, I guess. I intend to do so, but I've lost interest. This place is too unsightly. It is not fit to celebrate our reunion. And with that, the man in gold turns away. He turns back to us as if to demonstrate that we are no threat. We shall meet again, Saber. My decision remains unchanged since our last meeting. Be prepared to make your choice by the time we next meet. He disappears. The tension fades and the yard returns to the usual tranquility. But it's the only thing that returns to how it was. The Emir house is in shambles, and Ilya has fainted. And Saber, still with her back to us, remains silent. New servant data added, eh? Who the heck is this guy? We have Archer, the cool one. And then we got other Archer. Apparently he's chaotic good. I guess that's... Just checking something. Yeah, okay, EX. EX. He's broken the scale. We have no info. He's got some skills. He's got charisma. What the heck? We have so many new weapons. We have the laundry drying pole. We have Varja. We have Harpe. Duranda. It's like... Okay. I set a futon out in the living room and lay in the unconscious Ilya on it. She may have fainted, but her face is peaceful at least. Hey, don't look away. The bandage will slide off. I feel a hand slap my back. Ouch, Tasaka! Is that any way to treat the injured? Shut up, I'm treating your wounds, so hold still. Come on, raise your right hand. I doubt you need it, but let me put some ointment on it. Yeah, cold. If you can feel it, you're fine. Come on, let me wrap it. She wraps the bandage around my right shoulder with surprising skill. It's past 10. After a battle with Castor, Tasaka began treating my wounds as soon as we got back to the living room. Well, she started, but most of my wounds had already healed, so now she's just fussing over me. And we're done. Your body is nuts. Only vampires heal like you do. Are you sure you're human? Last I checked. I think she said something similar before. Hey, I'm just an ordinary human being. Even I don't know what's going on with my body, so don't bother asking. Don't mess with me. Who in the world could possibly be walking normally after getting their spinal cord severed? Oh, is that what happened? Look, it's useful, so I won't question it too much. But it's also getting creepy. Don't tell me you can't die unless your head is chopped off. This is the Fate series. This is not, I repeat, not Highlander, alright? We can't be crossing the streams like that. Got two completely different battle royales, alright? The scary thing here is that Tasaka is serious. One of these days, she might actually try for my neck with an axe. You think so too, right, Saber? I think you're the cause, but still, he's damn near immortal. Are you saying Shiro's healing power is not his own? It would be really impressive if it was. Of course not. Do you think someone who only knows strengthening magecraft could do something like that? Anyone could argue I'm just strengthening my own body. This ridiculousness can only be a result of his connection with you. Your own healing power must be flowing into him. Do you think so? I never felt that kind of connection with him before. If you're correct, my magical energy should be flowing into Shiro as we speak. More importantly, my healing power is not as strong as Shiro. Say, what's wrong? You just went pale. Saber stares off into space, apparently not even hearing Tasaka. No, it can't be. Saber shakes her head and looks down. What? Should I be realizing something yet, or... Huh? Tasaka and I each exchange looks. Saber's acting weird. Actually, I know why. Ever since that golden knight appeared, Saber's been pretty down. Well, let's put Shira's issue on hold for now. Saber, did you know that gold guy we met earlier? Goldie said something about you being his or something? Saber doesn't answer. She obviously doesn't want to talk about it. Do I? And the only thing I can think of is maybe somehow I possess the sheath. Right, that would be very healing. And that'd be something that Saber would have like an intimate connection to. So she'd be like, oh my goodness, I just realized. That's crazy. That's the only theory I can come up with right now. But I don't think we really have any direct evidence of that. Yeah, but I still want to know. Tasaka's asking the questions I want answers to. Saber, if you know, then tell us. Who was the guy? You called him Archer? Yes, I had to admit it, but I know that man. It should be impossible, though. There should only be 7 servants, so it shouldn't be possible for him to have been summoned as well. Although, if he won the last war, and then his wish was to like continue existing, like to continue like to live a new life, I guess maybe that's how he could still be around. A servant. So he really is a servant? That's pretty obvious. That could be a real problem for us. His class is Archer. He's of course a completely different rogue spirit than the Archer who formed a contract with Rin. His abilities and temperament are different as well. I can tell. I only saw him briefly, but it was more than enough to get a sense of what a monster he is. Hold on a minute, that doesn't make sense. If he's an archer and a servant, that makes 8. When only 7 servants can be summoned at a time, one disappearing doesn't mean another pops up to take their place. Besides, even the Holy Grail doesn't have the magical energy to summon more than 7. Only 7 servants because that's how many can be summoned at once. So how can they summon in 8? Wait. Saber, did you meet him in the previous war? Yes, Rin. On the final day in the previous Holy Grail War, I fought him in the Sea of Fire. For a moment, my entire body tenses. Saber fought in a Sea of Fire? Well, yeah, I was gonna say, we've known that for a while. This is nothing new. I'd heard from Kotomine that the fire was caused by the Holy Grail War, so it shouldn't be a surprise. I'm trying not to think about it all this time. So what happened? Did you manage to beat him? Well, obviously not. She didn't win that war. I did not defeat him. That is, I could not defeat him because you were beaten instead? Unlike your messed up summoning through Shiro, you can beat this guy even when you were summoned properly? Saber hangs her head but doesn't answer. And that's answer enough. Saber couldn't win? Not this imperfect Saber hobbled by my weakness, but Saber with nothing holding her back? Is that even possible? If you consider her expressly in terms of her strength as a swordsman, Saber isn't invincible. She was weaker than Berserker. But Saber is her noble phantasm. The other servants' noble phantasms are powerful, but Saber's exceeds them all. Well, I mean, except for this guy's, apparently. It's hard to believe there could be a hero in this world that her sacred sword can't defeat. There's only one explanation. He wasn't summoned for this war. He must be a servant who remained from the previous war. Nothing else makes sense. Yeah. My mind stops working. It's not that I agree with Tasaka's assessment. Well, if he's not in this war, then we can just kind of not worry about him, right? I mean, he did us a great favor at killing Caster. That just leaves Lancer. Eliminate him, boom, we've won the Grail War. Simple as that. But she just described what I've been hoping could be possible since yesterday. But that is... There are not buts. It's the only possible explanation. Only 7 servants can be summoned for each Holy Grail War. If there are any other servants here, wouldn't that mean they're the winners who survived the previous war? There's a heavy silence. Yet, why does Tosaka look so pleased? Tosaka, why do you look so happy? Isn't it obvious? There's precedence. I don't know who that guy is, but he's a servant who won the last Holy Grail War, right? Then he must have obtained the Holy Grail, and he's staying in this world with its power. Ah. That means he's proof that as long as you obtain the Holy Grail, a servant can remain in this world. I'd like to capture him and question him for more information. You think you could capture that guy? Best of luck to you, but I'm out for that one. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Tosaka. I'm assuming that, I don't know who that guy is, but he's a servant, and he's remained in this world since the previous war. Which means there's a way for Saber to do the same. Well, I don't know who he is or what his motives are, but it doesn't change the fact that he's an enemy we need to defeat. Doesn't it, though? If he's not part of this Grail War, then, like, he's a non-factor, right? Unless I misunderstand how it works. Saber, so what's his true identity? I do not know. Even during the previous war, I could not determine his identity. He did not have a noble phantasm specific to him. He didn't have a noble phantasm that made it clear who he was. That's ridiculous. A servant who doesn't have a noble phantasm wouldn't be a servant, right? Besides, he just... That's right, he had plenty of them. It shouldn't be too hard to figure out his identity since he used so many. We just need to figure out which hero would match the shapes and sizes of the noble phantasms he used. Then I shall ask you this. Do you remember any of the noble phantasms he used? Well. There was, there was Dainsleif, there was Varha, there was Harpe, there was... Actually, I don't think that he had the golden sword of assured victory. There's Durndal. Of course I do. Tosaka thinks hard for a moment. She folds her arms over her chest, frowning. And then just tilts her head in confusion. No way, that's impossible. Huh? What's going on, Tosaka? What's impossible? I don't believe it. The one covered in blood was Dainsleif. And that sickle-looking thing was Harpe. There's one that looked Chinese too, and I think there was one that looked like it was used by Akala? Tosaka looks almost crazed as she mutters to herself. So she has all of them? Or he has all of them? A bunch of different things. Interesting. Either that means he's some crazy anomaly, or maybe like a really great conqueror, right? Maybe he has noble phantasms from like all over the world because he conquered like all over the world. So yeah, I mean, you got some prominent historical figures then. You got Genghis Khan, eh? Maybe this archer is Genghis Khan. You got... You know, he wouldn't be quite to China, but you got Alexander the Great conquers a lot. Obviously, Roman emperors. You got Hadrian, who ruled over, I think, close to largest extent of the empire, but you could argue maybe more so Julius Caesar is more of a like a conqueror. But again, most of his conquests would have been, I know he ends up ruling over the empire in its entirety, but most of his conquests ends up being the in kind of the Gaul sort of region. Yeah, I mean, those are kind of some major ideas. Of course, this entire theory of like he has all the no phantasm because he's a great conqueror and therefore has access to like large regions of the world. That could be entirely wrong too, of course. Well, good night, Jedi Steve. Thanks for watching. So that one was similar to Saber Sword, but it should be different. The simple design looks like it must have come from Northern Europe, and I heard most originals of magical swords tend to take their cues from Nordic sources. She's even starting to grind her teeth. Hey, it's Osaka. And then going into like more recent history, obviously you got the Soviet Union takes over a large portion of this kind of old world area. Especially if you're considering their sphere of influence, like the Warsaw Pact, not just the Soviet Union proper. So maybe got like a Joseph Stalin, but that seems unlikely. Leaving her to her own devices will do more harm than good. If I don't stop her right now, we'll wind up paying the price later. Especially me. Tosaka! Tosaka! Come back to us! Ah, shut it, Shiro! Your butting in is just confusing me! I'm not trying to butt in. You're talking about that guy's noble phantasm, right? Judging just from their shapes, there was Dansleaf, Harpe, Durandal, Vara, Kaladbolg. Oh, and Gabolg? Oh, maybe his ability is that he, like... Maybe... Because Gabolg, that's Lancer's phantasm. Maybe it's not, like, anything he had to do with, like, what he did in his life. Maybe it's more so that his ability is he, like, assimilates the phantasms of the other heroic spirits he defeats, maybe? I know the Chinese one, but I think I covered all the famous ones. Yeah, you're right, on all counts. I don't love the face she's making. It leaves me feeling even worse. I don't know much, but I just blurted out what leapt into my head. But what does that mean? There's no hero who has such an insane number of noble phantasms. More importantly, the weapons are from all over the place, so I have no idea what the hell's going on. Yes, that is why even I could not discern his identity. He employed a wide variety of noble phantasms, each of which should have been a sign of a specific hero. Archer had so many, I could not narrow down his identity. The two look perplexed. Well, with so many noble phantasms, we have no hope of determining who he is. It's like hiding a leaf in a forest. Shiro, don't you have any suggestions? Tosaka, obviously annoyed, glares at me expecting. I'm not sure what she's just... She glares at me expecting. I'm not sure what. She's just taking her frustration out on me, I guess. Like what? Like anything you noticed or deduced? Any flash of inspiration? You need some real outside-the-box thinking here. The only chance of solving this predicament is through sheer luck. She may be right. I get it, you're making fun of me. Rude, I just think you're no help in the first place, so what do you think? I've got nothing. I raise my hands up in surrender. Tosaka grunts. That leaves us with only one conclusion, Saber. Saber, do you think all his noble phantasms are fakes? Some with their explanation. I agree, however. Huh, they weren't fakes? Huh? They weren't fakes. How did I figure that out? Besides, fake noble phantasms wouldn't have harmed Castor. How do you figure, Mia? I'm just saying, they were real. Actually, everything else seemed fake. Huh? It's intuition. I can't explain it, but those were all real. Lance's Gable is real, of course, but the spear the other guy used is also the real Gable. What? You're making that face isn't making explaining this any easier. It doesn't help that I have no idea how I know this. I just know all his noble phantasms are real. I can feel it. Maybe it's because I used projection during our battle against Berserker. After seeing all those noble phantasms, I can tell they're all real. A great weapon is imbued with specific concepts, while imitations lack something. I learned that much when I replicated Saber's sword. In that regard, I think all the noble phantasms that Servant had were perfect. Let's just set what Shiro set aside. Since we don't know that guy's true identity, we should think of our next moves. Nosaka sneaks a glance at Saber. Assuming he's after the Holy Grail, there's one more thing bothering me. Saber, can I be blunt? Let she always have that mischievous look when it comes to topics like this. What do you mean, Rin? If there's something you would like to know, you need not hold back. Are you sure? Okay then. What do you think of him, Saber? From the way he was talking at you, he seems to have the hots for you. I'm not following Tosaka's lead, but I also sneak a glance towards Saber. I don't think Tosaka has it wrong. He seemed obsessed with Saber. Actually, it's beyond being obsessed. From the very beginning, he only saw Saber as his possession. I do not care what he thinks. I do, however, recall him proposing marriage in the previous war. Of course, I banished that idea with my sword. Interesting. Propose? You mean that kind of proposal? What? What the heck is that servant thinking? Especially considering I'm pretty sure only one servant can survive till the end of the war, so, you know, I mean, that'd be a bit of a short-lived marriage. Great, I guess they're all celebrities, so that's being historical figures and all, so that's not exactly a surprise, but still. Oh, I don't know that I should celebrate that, but I get the sense you don't feel too bad about it either. It's flattering for a woman being proposed to, even after you've become a servant. That's not true. I do not have that kind of freedom. My only goal is to obtain the Holy Grail. Honestly, that kind of nonsense irritates me. Really? Yeah, I'd feel that way, but he seemed really into you. Guys like that, they don't get discouraged even when you reject them. You're stubborn too, so maybe you two are a good match. Tosaka's being irresponsible, so I'm not sure why she looks so amused. Tosaka looks like she's happy to have a conversation like this with Saber, even though Saber seems disinterested. I keep telling you that I have no interest in such things. He is certainly a skilled, heroic spirit, but he and I are of vastly different minds. Saber's responses are at least sincere. Oh, did you hear that, Shiro? Saber has no interest in men. Relieved. Rina, Shiro has nothing to do with this conversation. There's no logic in what you've just said. I figured, my bad. But if you're not sure why I'm so amused, I have to say, this whole thing is just funny. Tosaka laughs menacingly. Her eyes make it clear she's laughing at me as much as at Saber. I don't know what's pissing me off, but I get up without a word. Huh? Where are you going, Shiro? Tea. I'm getting thirsty, and I figured I'd prepare tea for everyone. I huff and head towards the kitchen. I don't know why, but I'm just irritated, so I decided to make super bitter tea for Tosaka. That'll show her. Then I'm going back to my room for now. Let's talk more tomorrow when Ilya wakes up. After teasing Saber for a good while, Tosaka gulps down her bitter tea and gets up. Yeah, go to sleep. Don't come back here. Fine, fine. I'm leaving the rest to you here. I don't know why she's so amused, but Tosaka's mood seems good even as she turns back to the outbuilding. What will you be doing, Shiro? Your wounds may have healed, but you should not push yourself. You should also rest for the night. Yeah, I intend to. But I'm going to watch Ilya a little more. If she seems alright, I'll take her to the spare room, and then I'll go to bed too. I see, then I will stay as well. And that's where our conversation ends. Tosaka was the one making all the noise, so it's gotten awkward now that it's quiet. Well, it's not that it's awkward. I'm anxious because there's so many questions rattling around in my head. And so many things I want to say. Come to think of it, I haven't really been able to talk to Saber about the Holy Grail. About her not being dead. About how even if she obtains the Holy Grail, there's no salvation for her. There's no need to explain why. She still doesn't have a wish for herself. Saber, about our conversation earlier. Our eyes meet. Hers tell me that she knows what I want to say. Yes, what is it, Shiro? She tries to divert what I have to say with her quiet tone. But I have to talk to her. I said about our earlier conversation. Tosaka said servants can stay in this world if they obtain the Holy Grail. So... No, I have no intention of remaining here. The moment I obtain the Holy Grail, I will return to my original time. So you're going to redo the selection of the king? Rather than saving yourself from the brink of death, you want to start over from the very beginning? Yes, it is the king's duty to protect their nation. I was inadequate, so I must at least select an appropriate king in my stead. She says it's like she's talking about a stranger. For some reason I get real mad. You idiot! Wake up! The hell with the king's duty. What matters is that you're here, so you should do what you want to do. Well, the thing is here, this is what she wants to do. You're strong, right? Then finish off this war right now. Get your Holy Grail and quit being a servant. If you have a wish, don't use it to go back in time and redo everything. If you want to change, don't change your past self, but find a way to change now, then return to the past from here. Saber doesn't answer. She sighs. You're very persistent, Shiro. Please let this matter rest. She rejects what I said outright. Obtaining the Holy Grail does not mean I can remain in the sage. Archer, that servant does not remain in the sage because he obtained the Holy Grail. It was not possible to obtain the Holy Grail in the previous war. Huh? How so? What? Huh? What do you mean? One cannot obtain what does not exist. On that night when the town was ablaze, the Holy Grail was destroyed. Destroyed by my master, who betrayed me, Kiritsugu Emiya. What? Huh? What? The edges of my vision go dark. I nearly fell backward, but catch myself with both hands. Kiritsugu Emiya.
Yes. 10 years ago he was my master in the previous Holy Grail War. Kiritsugu and I survived until the very end, and the Holy Grail was in Kiritsugu's hands.
What? And that...
Archer and his master were still left, and we had only to defeat them to bring an end to the Holy Grail War. But Kiritsugu abandoned the Holy Grail. As a result, the town was consumed in flames.
Wait, it's his fault? Straight up? Like,
He ordered me to destroy the Holy Grail. The servants are the only ones capable of touching it. Kiritsugu used his final command to force me to destroy the Holy Grail.
why? What the heck is this guy's issue?
With the Holy Grail gone, servants could not remain in this world. Kiritsugu did not try to keep me here. This is my last memory. I could not conclude my battle with that golden knight archer, nor ask Kiritsugu why he betrayed me.
It's not like I never thought about it. My old man was a mage. If he lived in this town, he could have been involved in a Holy Grail war. But still. Why didn't you tell me, Saber? Why didn't you tell me my old man was a master?
A servant typically does not retain their memories from previous summonings. The same heroic spirit is not typically summoned as a servant consecutively. I am an exception to this rule. That is why I determined it would be best not to mention that to you.
I see.
And I was not eager to speak with you about what sort of master Kiritsugu was.
Huh? Why didn't you want to tell me? Was he like awful to you?
Sure, in much the same way you have witnessed my past in my dreams, I have seen your past as well. I was surprised by your past and can't believe how much Kiritsugu had changed. The Kiritsugu and me of your memories was a wonderful person, but he is nothing like the man I remember. In brief, he was a typical mage. He acted purely out of self-interest, and he destroyed anything in his way. I saw not a hint of human emotion from him. In the course of the entire war, he spoke to me only 3 times.
That just seems bad tactically.
I don't think I need to explain those 3 occasions to you.
Only when he used the command spells. Ouch.
He was not brutal or some gleeful murderer. He was wholly without emotion. Kiritsugu treated me as nothing more than a tool and saw himself in much the same way. Kiritsugu killed every single one of his own emotions, just as he killed each of his enemies. I never learned what true of him, what he believed in, but in the moments I stood before the Holy Grail, he commanded me to destroy it. To be honest, never have I more bitterly cursed the command spells or betrayer than in that moment.
There's truth in Saber's words. No, they must all be true. I realized I knew nothing about what Kiritsugu was like before I met him. There's no way for me to find out what kind of person he'd been before that. There was no need. Even if Kiritsugu Miya was cold-hearted, it wouldn't change a thing. The man who adopted Shiro Miya as his son was so much warmer. That's the only truth about him to me. But what nags at me is, if Kiritsugu truly was so ruthless, and his final moments were just too empty and futile. I see. Then maybe I was able to summon you because I am Kiritsugu's son.
I do not know. Kiritsugu summoned me after taking the proper steps. He had the aptitude to be a master, and so was hired by a mage family with a long history to join the Holy Grail War. I hear that house provided everything he needed to be a master. They excavated a relic of King Arthur from Cornwall and gave it to Kiritsugu to use for the Holy Grail War. Kiritsugu used it as catalyst to summon me, King Arthur.
Okay. And I bet that relic must have been the sheath. Which I guess I probably have now. Which probably is why I'm so good at healing myself.
So Kiritsugu do not possess a connection to me, nor did he possess any attributes in common with me. There must be some other factor which enabled you to summon me.
I got it. I'm not that surprised my old man was a master. What does surprise me is that his servant is the same King Arthur with me now. And one more thing. Saber said that the Holy Grail was destroyed. Then, maybe this war is meaningless to begin with. I don't get it. You already knew there's no Holy Grail, right? So why did you decide to join this ridiculous war? What? Isn't it like a new Grail or something, right? Like it exists this time?
I cannot say for certain whether the Holy Grail is truly here or not. But so long as I have been summoned, there must be a Holy Grail.
So you can say for certain that it's here.
Have you forgotten, Shiro? I have become a servant expressly to obtain the Holy Grail. Put another way, I would not have been summoned to a place if there was no Holy Grail.
Oh yeah, but then does that mean a Holy Grail can fix itself after it's destroyed?
No, the Holy Grail is not something that can be easily replaced. The Holy Grail, once destroyed, cannot be restored.
But
it should exist. Servants are drawn to the Holy Grail and manifest without a Holy Grail. Servants will not appear. The priest mentioned that already.
the priest, oh yeah, that guy. The guy living in the church, the overseer of the Holy Grail War. Then who's managing the Holy Grail should be able to answer all my questions. The end of the previous war, the whereabouts of the destroyed Holy Grail, and how that archer is still around. And yet, what did Kiritsugu see at the end of the battle that made him want to destroy the Holy Grail?